your comeback will be stronger than your setback. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a straight road. It bends, it breaks, it bruises. Sometimes it feels like the whole universe is conspiring to see how much you can endure. Your dreams collapse, your plans shatter, and your soul feels like it's drowning in silence. But here's the thing about brokenness, it is not the end. It is the beginning of becoming. When everything falls apart, the stage is being set for your grandest return. A comeback doesn't begin when the storm ends, it begins when you decide to rise despite the storm still raging. And I promise you this, your comeback will always be stronger than your setback. Pain is not the end, it's a powerful beginning. There comes a moment in life when the silence becomes so loud that it starts echoing every memory of what once was. That's where pain is born, not in the wound, but in the remembrance of wholeness. Pain is not an enemy. It is an unexpected teacher that knocks at your door when you least want it, and it never comes empty-handed. It brings lessons wrapped in tears and truths soaked in fire. It pulls you into the depths where comfort cannot reach and only courage can breathe. People often tell you to run from pain, to hide from it, to distract yourself with noise, but you can't outrun something that lives inside your chest. You can't silence something that's meant to awaken your soul. You must walk into it. You must allow it to flow through you like a river that cleanses everything artificial and leaves behind only the core of who you are. It is in that surrender that the beginning begins, not the kind that starts new chapters, but the kind that creates entirely new books. When your heart breaks, let it. Let it fall apart. Let it collapse. Let it tremble. Because only then will you know how it feels to build something from dust, something that doesn't look like what was lost, but something more real, more honest, more powerful. The pain does not end you. It refines you. It digs deeper into your soul and asks, who are you? Without the masks, without the expectations, without the noise. And the answer doesn't come instantly. It comes slowly, like dawn after a long night. It comes with the realization that everything you thought you couldn't survive, you did. That every time you wanted to give up, something inside you whispered, just one more day. That whisper was not weakness. It was your rebirth in disguise. Pain becomes your mirror. It shows you not what's missing, but what's eternal within you. There is beauty in being brought to your knees. Because when you're that low, the only way left is up. And the climb teaches you more than the fall ever could. It teaches you to hold your own hand. It teaches you to trust the process of healing that doesn't come with timelines or applause. It teaches you that the tears you cry are not signs of defeat, they are seeds of transformation. In this way, pain does not end your journey. It opens the first page of the most powerful chapter you've never dared to write. Rock bottom is a solid foundation for rebirth. Falling is never graceful, it is raw, it is cruel. It is disorienting. One moment you are standing tall and the next the world feels like it has swallowed you whole. That moment, when you hit rock bottom, is not just a fall, it is a breaking. But what no one tells you is that rock bottom is the most sacred place you'll ever stand on because there is nothing left to pretend. Nothing left to lose. Nothing left to hide. There, in that deep silence where even your shadow feels distant, you begin to see yourself not as you were told to be, but as you truly are. With all the cracks, with all the chaos, with all the stories etched into your bones, you begin to realize that this place, this ground that feels like the end, is actually holding you, grounding you, whispering to you, this is where you rebuild. When everything is stripped away, clarity rises like smoke from the ashes. You begin to question not only where you are, but who you are. And those questions become your compass. You learn that falling doesn't mean failing, it means being offered a chance to rebuild without the weight of the past, without the fear of judgment, without the chains of expectation. You don't rise from rock bottom by running, you rise by rooting, by sitting in the stillness, by learning to breathe again without the need to prove anything to anyone. And in that stillness, you start constructing a new self. Not built on approval or applause, but on truth and tenderness. It takes strength to rebuild. Not the kind the world celebrates, but the kind that keeps you alive when everything feels lifeless. The kind that says, I will try again, even if my hands are shaking. That kind of strength becomes your blueprint. That kind of strength becomes the foundation of your rebirth. And so, rock bottom no longer remains a place of defeat. It becomes the birthplace of your rise, your resilience, and your reinvention. Choose growth over grief. Loss comes wrapped in silence. It enters quietly, but its presence is loud. It takes away pieces of your world and leaves you standing in rooms that once held laughter, now echoing with absence. Grief follows like an ocean that refuses to stop crashing against the shore of your heart. But amidst that crashing tide, there is a choice to remain submerged in sorrow or to rise through it, stronger, softer, and wiser than before. Choosing growth doesn't mean denying the pain. It means walking through it without letting it chain you. It means holding your grief with compassion but not letting it become your identity. Grief has a purpose to honor what was, but growth has a mission to nurture what can still be. You can hold both in your hands, the ache of what's lost and the seed of what's waiting. Some days, growth will feel impossible. You will want to curl back into grief because it feels safer, familiar, even comforting. But those are the very moments where growth is quietly unfolding. In the decision to get out of bed, in the courage to say, I'm not okay, but I'm still here. In the resilience to dream again, even when everything feels numb. Growth isn't loud. It doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like crying without shame. Sometimes it looks like saying no, setting boundaries, or choosing yourself for the first time. And each of those moments is a step forward, even if the world doesn't applaud it. Grief will tell you to pause, and you must listen. But growth will tell you not to stay there too long. It will whisper, there's more for you. There's life beyond this pain. There are smiles you haven't smiled yet, dreams you haven't dreamed yet, skies you haven't seen yet. And when you choose growth, you choose life. You choose to rise not in spite of grief, but through it. Rewrite the narrative, you are not what happened to you. It's easy to start believing that your story has already been written, especially when life hands you chapters you never asked for. You begin to identify with the labels people gave you, with the trauma that shook you, with the pain that tried to define you, but you are not what happened to you. You are not the broken sentences others spoke over you. You are the author now, and the pen is in your hands. There is incredible power in reclaiming your narrative. When you stop saying, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I create from this? Everything shifts. The past may have shaped you, but it does not own you. You own your voice. You own your choices. And you own the power to write something new. That new story won't be perfect. It won't be free of pain or struggle, but it will be yours. And it will be honest. You will write from the scars, not the wounds. You will write with a voice that once trembled but now stands tall. You will write for the version of you who once thought they were too broken to continue. There will always be people who try to remind you of your worst moments. Let them. Because their voice cannot erase the truth of who you are becoming. The world may have tried to reduce you to a sentence, but you are an entire book still being written. You are the rising action after the fall, the breakthrough after the breakdown. And in rewriting your story, you give permission to others to do the same, to tear out pages they never deserved, to edit out the shame that never belonged, to add chapters filled with courage, grace, and fire. You don't have to be the person your pain tried to make you. You get to be the person your healing is revealing. Your comeback will inspire others to rise. You may not realize it, but your journey is not happening in isolation. Someone somewhere is watching you, watching the way you continue to breathe despite the weight on your chest, watching the way you walk through fire with grace, watching the way you turn pain into poetry and silence into strength. Your comeback isn't just about you, it's a light for those lost in their own night. People don't always speak of it, but they draw strength from your resilience. Your story becomes their roadmap. Your rise becomes their reason. And without knowing it, you become a silent mentor to those who think they can't rise again. Your scars, your tears, your healing, they are not weaknesses. They are lighthouses. When you choose to keep going, you are planting hope in places you'll never see. Every step you take toward healing is a ripple in someone else's ocean. And sometimes, your silent strength speaks louder than 1,000 speeches. It says, you're not alone. It says, you can survive this too. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. Show the world how to keep walking with shaky feet. Show them how to carry pain without letting it define you. Show them how beauty still lives even in broken things. Let your journey be raw, be human, be authentic. That's what truly inspires. Not polished perfection, but relentless truth. The kind that says, I'm still here, and so can you be. Your comeback becomes a song that echoes across broken hearts, reminding them that this is not the end. And one day, without even realizing it, your presence becomes a soft answer to someone else's silent prayer. Not because you had all the solutions, but because you dared to keep going. Your rise becomes a mirror in which others see their own strength reflected. Your vulnerability becomes their permission to heal. And your courage, your comeback, becomes a message without words. That no matter how dark the night, the dawn always returns. And so can we. In the end, there will always be moments in life that feel like the end. Moments that knock the breath out of your lungs, that break the rhythm of your heartbeat, that leave you wondering if you'll ever find your way back. But the truth is, what feels like a setback is often the silent birth of a stronger, wiser, and more powerful you. The pain didn't come to stop your journey. It came to strip away the lies, the limits, the layers, and lead you back to your essence. You don't rise because the world gives you permission. You rise because the fire within refuses to go out. This comeback, this rise, this transformation, it isn't loud or instant. It is slow. It is quiet. It is sacred. And it begins when you choose to believe in your ability to rebuild, even when the ruins are still warm. You won't look like the person who once fell, and that's the beauty of it. Because a version of you who rises carries within them not just lessons, but legacies. Not just healing, but hope. You rise not in spite of the fall, but because of it. Your comeback will always be stronger than your setback. Not because the pain disappears, but because you decide to rise with grace, with courage, and with faith louder than fear. And one day, you will look back not with regret, but with reverence, because the fall made you fall into yourself. And in doing so, you rose into the most powerful version of who you were meant to be all along.